In 2231, a small flotilla of supercarriers bound for the outlying Earth colony of Gantris 6 suffered a critical navigational error. For 28 years, they drifted through space, labeled missing by their original sponsors and quickly dismissed. When their engines had finally deteriorated beyond repair and their life support systems were nearly exhausted, the carriers emerged from warp space 60,000 light-years from Earth. The sector they found themselves in would become the new home for this forgotten branch of humanity, one rife with ancient secrets and alien powers, a wild region of space designated the Koprulu Sector. The exact boundaries of the Koprulu Sector are ill-defined, and the term is typically used to describe the extent of Terran-controlled or explored space, rather than any stringent set of borders. While a number of successive attempts to subdivide the sector into administrative zones have existed over the centuries, the most enduring simply splits the planets of Koprulu between the core worlds and the outer colonies. The core worlds originally referred to the 13 planets governed by the former Terran Confederacy. Since its collapse and the rise of the Terran Dominion, the term now refers to the most powerful human worlds in the sector, rather than any astrogeographical location. The outer colonies are those lacking the wealth or industry of the core worlds, and are largely overlooked by the Terran Dominion. Revolts and unrest defined these planets, and major settlement initiatives have been discouraged here for centuries. Besides these two broad categorizations lie a myriad of other planetary regions. The Fringe Worlds comprise a belt of planets on the frontiers of Terran space, steeped in crime and piracy. They are inhabited mostly by the poorly educated and isolationist, and often used as a source of cheap labor to exploit the natural resources of their worlds. Dead Man's Space, by comparison, is an entirely lawless territory well beyond the control of any government, and a central hub for many criminal and mercenary organizations. The only uniting feature across the whole of the Koprulu sector is its harsh and rugged worlds. While some planets like Tersonis or Korhal have, at times, hosted lush and verdant ecosystems, most are inhospitable. Barren husks of rock, frigid wastelands, or volcanically unstable. Alien life is also prevalent, mostly primitive species which vary from benign to outright hostile. But the imicable worlds of the Koprulu sector hide a network of ruins and forgotten temples, some of the last remnants of the ancient and powerful Xel'Naga race. The Terrans were hardly the first to attempt to uncover their secrets. Far before the arrival of humanity, the Koprulu sector existed in the shadow of the Protoss Empire. This highly advanced and enigmatic civilization took great care not to upset the natural balance of their worlds, and were reportedly horrified at the prevalent strip mining techniques employed by the Terrans shortly after their arrival. The incessant conflict between the various Terran governments, which expanded in scope to include both the Protoss and Zerg swarm, only further destroyed the Koprulu sector's environment and potential. With the defeat of Amon, a malicious survivor of the Xel'Naga, life has seemingly returned to Koprulu on a scale never before seen. Worlds that were once desolate wastelands now bloom anew, and this miraculous event is seen by many as heralding a new age of peace and prosperity. Perhaps, however, the transformation of the Koprulu sector has merely increased its value, and the delicate armistice that has stayed the hand of the three great races is now in doubt. Only time will prove whether the old adage that defined the region still holds true, that nobody ever dies in bed in the Koprulu sector. In Atlas, the Templin Institute investigates the most storied places from across alternate worlds. If you have a suggestion for a future episode, let us know in the comments section, and if you'd like to support us directly, a link to our Patreon can be found in the description.